Morgan Stanley will become the latest Wall Street giant to scrap limits on bonuses for its London staff, following rivals Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. It comes after the UK abandoned EU rules limiting bonuses to twice basic salary. That was late last year. The EU brought in the cap to discourage excessive risk-taking. But critics argue it simply makes banks pay bigger basic salaries. There's always a way around it, it would seem. Let's discuss the costs and benefits of bumper bonuses with Geraint Anderson, ex-stockbroker, author of the book City Boy, Beer and Loathing in the Square Mile. Geraint, lovely to see you again. So what do you think? Is this a good thing or a bad thing that bonuses are back?
I think it's a bad thing. I think that it's a return to the bad old days when dinosaurs like me were bankers. It's a time that was described by Gordon Brown, our ex-Prime Minister, as the age of irresponsibility. And the reason is that you have to understand the mentality of bankers, and that is that the bonus means everything. It's not just the next Ferrari you can buy. It is a market's assessment of your value. And you will do absolutely anything to increase that, because if the guy at Goldman's gets twice what you got, that's literally the market deciding that he is twice the man you'll ever be. And that mentality was pervasive in the 2000s. And that's what really helped lead up to the financial crisis, because it does encourage reckless gambling. The reason it does that is because there is essentially an asymmetrical risk. If you get a massive bonus, you get to keep most of it. Some of it may be clawed back if those profits later prove illusory. And therefore, if your huge gamble comes back, you get a huge amount of money. If your huge gamble goes wrong, then it could go, no money is actually removed from your wallet. And that's asymmetrical risk is at the core of this problem. But
do you not think that the culture has changed? Because we all remember, we've seen the movies, we've got images of Leonardo DiCaprio in our heads and of others of how it used to be. But then we had the 2008 financial crisis, the collapse of Lehman Brothers and others. It was a catastrophic time, a global recession. Did that not jolt the City of London and Wall Street to change?
No, not at all. Greed and competitiveness are the two key principal features that characterize bankers and always will. You don't go into the city to improve the world, you fulfill your creative ambitions. You go there to make a fast buck. And the fact of the matter is that memory is also quite short. Lots of people, it's a young man's game. Lots of people currently in the city will no longer be thinking about 2008. Just as when I entered, I wasn't thinking about what happened in 1987 with the crash then. So really, it's the whole problem is that you think that the bonus is a value creation, is the reflection of your value, and the bigger the potential reward, the bigger the potential risk you are willing to take, because that's all we do in the city is assess risk and reward.
Sorry to interrupt you, Geraint, because we're short for time, sadly, which is a shame, because it's such an interesting conversation. But if London were not to do this, would London not be seen as not the place to be if you're in banking? If you know, can they not therefore attract the best in the business because they're not offering bonuses where you can get them elsewhere?
This is an argument. This argument is wheeled out every time by these smart guys at the banking lobbying places like the British Bankers Association. They said it when regulation was slightly increased. They talked about it when they said that our tier one ratios, the amount of debt a bank could have, would increase. They said it when compliance would increase. They wheel out this old canard every time to try and say, please don't make any changes. We like things as they are. We like to be able to make huge amounts of money with this asymmetrical risk whenever humanly possible. And I'm afraid they would literally say this every time, Sally. It's a joke.
Just very briefly, what was your biggest ever bonus back in the day?
Oh, I hate to say it. It was, so long ago I can hardly remember, but it was about £500,000.
Wow, that's a nice bonus.
It was nice, but you know what? Even at the time, I went into that little room and I said, this is outrageous.
That's a Ferrari, that is, at least.
What I was required, because that's what you have to do. Because actually, you know what it really does? It encourages psychopathic behavior. You have a single goal, make this big bonus. Your colleagues are not colleagues, they're competitors for the bonus pool. Likewise, you lie, cheat and steal to do anything to get that bonus big. And of course, society will suffer if a bank fails. Unlike with other firms, when banks fail, we all fail.
Geraint, we've got to go, I'm sorry to say, but we appreciate your view on this. It's a very interesting debate. Bankers' bonuses, a good thing or a bad thing? Tell us what you think as well. I'm at Sally Bundock BBC on X.